I think our eco-identities are more of a puzzle. We have a whole bunch of different pieces that fit together in order to create a landscape. Without one of those pieces, the puzzle is incomplete. But unlike a puzzle, our identities are always growing and changing. Pieces are added or reshaped, the shape of the puzzle changes, and we are always changing how we view our puzzle. My journey towards eco-literacy and my eco-identity started when I was 2. Very few people can say that the defining moment of their life, the one that changed how their life would turn out, happened at 2 years old. Well, mine did. When I was 2, my mom, my dad, my baby brother, and I went to Marineland. For me, that was the trip that changed everything. While I was there, I fell in love. I fell in love in a very 2-year-old way. I fell in love with an orca. That was the moment where I knew I wanted the focus of my life to be ocean-related. At 2 years old, I could think of nothing better than spending the rest of my life working with these incredible creatures. People always say that at 2 they wanted to be a princess, a superhero, or even a dinosaur. I wanted to be a dolphin trainer. I would later learn that the actual word for what I wanted to do was marine biology. While that was my defining moment, it was only a part of my journey. Because you see, eco-literacy is a journey. It doesn't end, and you should never stop growing with it. Another piece of my puzzle is the family trip we took when I was 6. The 4 of us and Todd, our dog, hopped into a car and drove from Regina, Saskatchewan to Alaska. That's the place where I can truly remember falling in love with nature. It's where I touched the clouds, where I watched so many belugas come into rub that the bay looked white. Alaska is where I saw the northern lights dance like ribbons in the sky. It's where I woke up to find otters playing in the ocean right behind where our trailer was set up. I fell in love with Alaska. And through that, I fell in love with nature all over again. For me, it's impossible to look at my eco-literacy without looking at our camping trips. We used to spend most of the summer in different spots, and those are some of my most cherished memories. Camping helped to give me my respect for nature. It's hard not to respect it when there's a bear mere feet from your trailer. Seeing nature at its finest and with unchecked possibility made me want to protect it that much more. Hawaii was where my love for all things ocean, not just cetaceans, solidified. I snorkeled through a reef, saw sea turtles, experienced the awe-inspiring beauty of a humpback whale and her calf. That experience and being there and seeing all those things made me certain that the ocean was where my heart was. O'Reilly and Cole and the Coyote and the Raven talk about how being a part of a landscape for so long causes us to stop truly seeing the landscape. We stop seeing the relationships and the connections. We stop seeing what makes that landscape so unique and beautiful. It takes a shock or a jolt or a particular experience to bring us out of our safe cocoon. Hawaii was a jolt for me. It made me remember why I fell in love with this particular landscape. Its beautiful vulnerability reminded me of the connection I felt to this place. Another piece of my puzzle was Dalhousie University. I was following my dream and my passion. Dal has given me the knowledge to back up my dream and the courage to make it happen. This place, one of my places, showed me how to challenge the norm. It encouraged conversations about dominant discourses, and I found that I thrive when I go beyond my box. I got to meet and interact with world-class researchers and conservationists. For me, it was like brushing shoulders with giants. Hal Whitehead, Boris Worm, Rob Stewart, and so many more people have influenced the time I spent there and who I am today. I graduated with a degree in marine biology and oceanography, but that wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough for me to be passionate about the ocean. I needed to get others passionate too. And it's only through passion and love that something can be saved, and the ocean needs saving. But being immersed into a society where the ocean was the focal point, to me, wasn't normal. And I struggled with the idea that while I was learning these incredible and sometimes scary things, the norm for people where I grew up was to not consider them. Oceans are not something that were considered in prairie communities. In a way, I felt a bit like the Lorax. I am Marianne, and I speak for the ocean. I didn't see why the approach to education in the prairies couldn't be interdisciplinary. Why couldn't we be teaching students that the oceans are important too? Why couldn't we be showing them that the beauty, environmental, and even economic importance of these places mattered? I made it my mission to interrupt how people in the prairies were learning and to challenge what they thought of as normal. That led me here, to the University of Regina, and specifically into the ESCI 302 course. Looking back, I see themes from this course threaded throughout my entire life. Without even realizing it, some of the class material made it into my day-to-day life. What ESCI 302 did for me was to shine a light on those themes, to make me take a step back and examine how I myself had been learning my whole life. For lack of a better term, it interrupted my learning. In The Problem of Disciplines and the Discipline of Problems, Orr talks about melding mind and nature together. At its core, I think that's what this course did. It encouraged us to examine our worldviews, to look at the dominant discourses, and recognize that what's in our mind is not so separate from nature after all. This course opened my boundaries and forced me to learn in ways I wasn't used to. Moving forward, I hope that's what my classes do for students too. Challenge thinking, encourage creativity, and develop an eco-identity.